Here's something most guys will never figure out. The women who become absolutely obsessed with you aren't drawn to what you do for them. They're magnetically pulled toward what you refuse to do. And today, I'm breaking down the exact psychology behind why smart men who know how to say no become irresistible. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely flip your understanding of attraction. Right now, countless men are spinning their wheels, trying to impress women who are emotionally unavailable, constantly seeking approval, jumping through hoops, and getting nowhere. But here's what separates a man who naturally commands attraction from one who's stuck chasing. It's not his looks, not his bank account, not even his confidence. It's something far more powerful. It's his ability to refuse, to stand firm, to protect his value without apology. Before we dive deeper, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you'll want to catch every video we drop because this content will transform how you show up in the world. Let me be direct with you. A high-value man doesn't bend for anyone. He understands something crucial. His worth isn't measured by the attention he gives away, it's defined by the attention he reserves for himself. Picture this scenario. A woman texts you late at night. She's testing whether you'll drop everything and respond instantly. Most guys panic. They reply immediately, terrified of losing her interest. But a man who truly understands female psychology, he waits. He lives his life. He doesn't sacrifice his priorities, and he responds on his terms. That pause, it's not coldness, it's magnetic. It sends a message louder than any words. I have a life you don't control. Here's the psychological truth. Women subconsciously monitor how you respond to their subtle tests. Every small concession you make communicates something about your self-respect. Every boundary you hold reinforces her perception of you as rare, confident, and genuinely valuable. And here's what most men completely miss. Attraction is born from scarcity, not availability. The moment you make yourself too accessible, too eager, too easily influenced, desire evaporates. Smart men understand these invisible dynamics, and they navigate them without arrogance or cruelty, but with unshakable consistency. This principle extends beyond texting. If she disrespects you publicly, tries to belittle you, or dismisses your perspective, a high-value man refuses to tolerate it. He doesn't argue, he doesn't plead, he simply disengages with quiet certainty. That disengagement, it triggers something primal in her psychology. It awakens curiosity. It forces her to reassess your value. And it ignites attraction in ways no compliment, expensive gift, or grand gesture ever could. Women feel this at an instinctive level. They notice when a man maintains his dignity under pressure. That composure becomes intoxicating. Let's get something straight. Refusing isn't about being stubborn or cold-hearted. It's about self-mastery. It's about aligning your actions with your core principles and refusing to sacrifice yourself for temporary validation. High-value men refuse to settle for partners who don't challenge them intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually. You cannot demand respect and desire if you hand it away carelessly. Your refusal to bend in small, seemingly invisible ways accumulates into genuine power, a power that women are drawn to, often without even understanding why. If this is making sense so far, show some love by hitting that like button. And seriously, subscribe if you haven't already. We're building a community of men who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Now let's get specific. There are 4 things every high-value man instinctively refuses, and each refusal creates a deep, almost magnetic response in women. Refusal number 1, never compromise your time for someone who doesn't respect it. Your time is your most valuable currency. How you spend it broadcasts your priorities. When a woman observes that you don't drop everything for her attention, it sparks curiosity. She thinks, who is this guy? Why doesn't he bend? What makes him so different? That mystery creates desire. It's not arrogance, it's a clear, silent message. Your attention is earned, not freely given. Women crave men who protect their own life and energy. They subconsciously connect self-respect with value, and value with long-term security and excitement. Refusal number 2, never tolerate disrespect or manipulation. This doesn't mean creating drama or picking fights. It means calm, consistent enforcement. When she tests your boundaries, makes subtle jabs, or attempts emotional manipulation, a smart man doesn't react from fear, guilt, or obligation. He calmly reinforces his standards or simply disengages. Here's why this works. Women subconsciously evaluate which men are predictable, reliable, and grounded versus those who can be easily swayed. Disrespect is often a subconscious test. Your refusal signals strength, and that's a powerful psychological trigger. She's compelled to reconsider her behavior while simultaneously becoming more intrigued by the stability you represent. Refusal number 3. Never chase validation or approval. This is massive. High-value men don't need constant reassurance that they're desirable or worthy. They radiate confidence because their self-worth is internal. Women are naturally drawn to this because it signals independence and emotional maturity. A man who constantly seeks approval creates tension, doubt, and ultimately boredom. But a man who refuses to chase validation, who carries himself with quiet certainty, he taps into an ancient attraction system. She begins wondering what makes him different, why he doesn't seek her attention, why he stands apart from everyone else, and without realizing it, she starts pursuing. Refusal number 4. Never settle for superficial connections. Smart men are selective. They don't invest in people who drain their energy, compromise their integrity, or fail to stimulate them mentally and emotionally. This refusal is magnetic because it reflects high standards and self-respect, qualities women unconsciously associate with long-term stability, leadership, and genetic value. When a man refuses the ordinary, he becomes rare, and rarity is a primal trigger for desire. She may initially resist or test, but the more she perceives that you won't settle, the stronger her curiosity and attraction become. Here's the critical insight. These refusals aren't passive. They're deliberate, conscious choices that shape perception, trigger desire, and maintain boundaries. Women instinctively notice men who refuse in these ways. They may not articulate it consciously, but psychologically they're tracking who has genuine self-respect, who controls their own life, and who can't be easily manipulated. That tracking activates deep emotional circuits that make a woman obsessed with understanding you, connecting with you, and ultimately valuing you. And let me be clear, refusing these 4 things isn't about being harsh or arrogant. It's about mastering your inner world. It's about projecting reliability, strength, and mystery, creating that invisible tension that pulls her in. When done consistently, these refusals transform every interaction. Women respond unconsciously. Their curiosity spikes, their desire intensifies, and suddenly the dynamics of attraction, the rules most men are completely blind to, start working in your favor. Real quick, if you're getting value from this, go ahead and subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss content that could change your entire approach to relationships and life. So what actually happens inside her mind when you consistently refuse these 4 things? Most men never grasp this, which is exactly why they struggle to create deep, lasting attraction. The truth? Her emotions are being silently rewired every time you hold a boundary, protect your time, or refuse to chase validation. And when she starts feeling this shift, it can border on obsession, not because you did anything dramatic, but because you became rare, unpredictable, and valuable in ways she can't control. Think about it. Women instinctively test boundaries. They do it subconsciously to gauge a man's value. When a man bends, complies, or chases, the test is failed and desire diminishes. But when a man refuses with quiet consistency, something fascinating occurs. Her brain registers him as high value. She feels tension and curiosity simultaneously. She starts noticing the small, almost invisible things he does or doesn't do. Those observations create a mental pattern of intrigue. He becomes unforgettable because in a world where most men overgive, over-explain, or overcompensate, he stands apart. This process activates deep emotional circuits. She experiences what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. Her desire conflicts with her initial resistance. She wonders, consciously or not, why she can't control him, why she feels drawn to him despite her attempts to test or manipulate. That tension is addictive. Women thrive on emotional stimulation, and a man who refuses to be fully available provides that stimulation in a way no one else can. Every boundary you maintain, every refusal to comply with minor tests, compounds into an invisible gravitational pull she can't shake. Here's another secret. Women often become obsessed with men who reflect qualities they subconsciously desire but can't easily obtain. By refusing time-wasting, validation-seeking, disrespect, or superficial connection, you're signaling traits they seek at a deep instinctual level: strength, independence, consistency, and mystery. She isn't consciously calculating this. It happens beneath the surface. She starts thinking about you more than she intends, analyzing your behavior, remembering your words, feeling compelled to engage on your terms. That's attraction at the highest level, a magnetic, almost hypnotic pull that you generate without ever trying to impress her. And let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation or control. It's a natural response to high value, self-mastery, and boundaries. You don't force it. You simply refuse to diminish your own worth. Women respond instinctively, emotionally, and sometimes irrationally because your behavior communicates something primal. I'm a man who respects himself, protects his life, and cannot be easily swayed. The more consistent you are, the stronger the effect. Inconsistent refusals create confusion or resentment. Overly rigid refusals can create frustration without desire. The key is quiet consistency, enforcing your boundaries while remaining calm, confident, and emotionally grounded. Every refusal becomes a subtle signal. I am not yours to control. I am my own man. That signal, repeated over time, forms an emotional imprint she can't forget. Her obsession doesn't happen overnight. It accumulates gradually, building tension, curiosity, and attraction until her desire becomes undeniable. Each time she notices that you refuse in ways most men wouldn't, she becomes more intrigued, more emotionally invested, more compelled to seek your approval, your attention, and ultimately your presence. Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed and you've hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because this information is too powerful to keep to yourself. Now let's shift from theory to action. Understanding refusal is one thing. Applying it consistently is where most men fail. Smart men don't just know the rules, they live them. Every interaction, every message, every decision becomes an opportunity to reinforce value, maintain boundaries, and trigger subconscious attraction. Start with your time. Refuse to prioritize anyone who doesn't respect it. That doesn't mean being cold. It means living on your terms. If she texts while you're busy, respond when it's convenient for you, not her. If she expects immediate compliance, don't bend. Every moment you honor your own schedule silently communicates you're dealing with a man who has a life, priorities, and self-respect. That quality is irresistible. She notices it, even subconsciously, and it makes her reassess your value. You're no longer one of many, you're rare, and rarity triggers desire. Next, enforce respect consistently. Refuse to tolerate disrespect or manipulative behavior, but do it without drama. If she makes a subtle dig or tests your patience, calmly reinforce boundaries. Don't argue, don't justify, don't beg for understanding. Women respond to quiet strength because it signals emotional stability and leadership. That stability becomes a gravitational pull. Every time you refuse disrespect without reacting emotionally, you deepen attraction. You demonstrate without words that you're unshakable, grounded, emotionally mature, qualities that create natural obsession. Refusing validation is equally critical. Do not seek constant reassurance from her or anyone else. A man who is internally validated exudes confidence that can't be faked. If she compliments you or challenges your worth, acknowledge it calmly, but remain self-contained. Never over-explain, never chase, never overcompensate. Women are drawn to men who hold their own power effortlessly. That subtle independence sparks curiosity, triggers desire, and strengthens emotional engagement because it challenges her instincts to control or manipulate. Finally, refuse superficial connections. Be selective about who you invest your energy in. If interactions drain you or someone doesn't meet your standards intellectually, emotionally, or morally, withdraw politely but decisively. That selectivity communicates high standards and self-respect, two qualities women are wired to notice and pursue. By refusing shallow connections, you create invisible tension. She begins wondering why you're not like other men, why you don't bend to anyone's whims, and her mind focuses on you in ways she cannot control. Consistency is the secret ingredient. The moment you act inconsistently, sometimes refusing, sometimes giving in, confusion replaces attraction. Quiet, firm, consistent refusal forms the psychological framework that makes a woman emotionally invested. Every time she encounters a refusal aligned with these four principles, tension builds, curiosity spikes, desire intensifies, and obsession begins without any overt effort on your part. And remember, this isn't about arrogance or cruelty. It's about mastery, mastery over yourself, your choices, your life. Every refusal reinforces your value, an invisible signal that you cannot be bought, manipulated, or controlled. Women subconsciously recognize this. They feel it emotionally, physiologically, psychologically. They start thinking about you more than you realize. They start chasing without understanding why. That's the quiet power of smart men who refuse strategically, a power most men never learn, and a power women can't resist. Here's the deeper truth most men never see. When practiced consistently, these refusals don't just attract women, they create a psychological imprint that lasts. She doesn't just notice you, she thinks about you constantly. She analyzes every word, every gesture, every decision, trying to understand why you're so different from every other man she's encountered. That imprint is the foundation of obsession. Every refusal becomes a building block in her subconscious perception of you. She begins anticipating your reactions, wondering what choices you'll make next, comparing other men to you without realizing it. That comparison always favors the man who maintains boundaries, because most men overgive, over-explain, and undervalue themselves. In contrast, you project consistency, self-respect, emotional maturity, qualities that ignite desire on a deep primal level. She may try to challenge it, test it, push against it, but the more you maintain your standards quietly and consistently, the stronger her attachment grows. Women are wired to pursue what feels scarce and emotionally unattainable. Refusal is the key that triggers this pursuit naturally. It's not about playing games or creating confusion, it's about self-mastery. When you operate from a place of consistent value, she experiences tension, curiosity, and emotional arousal without knowing why. She can't help thinking about you, imagining scenarios with you in her life, wondering how you operate, comparing her standards to yours. That mental focus creates emotional dependency on your presence, your attention, ultimately your approval. The most powerful men understand that attraction is less about what you give and more about what you refuse to give. This is the hidden law of female psychology. Desire grows where availability diminishes, respect is enforced, and value is protected. Women subconsciously feel that you're different, rare, worthy of pursuit. And the moment you consistently refuse the four things that dilute your power, that magnetism intensifies. She starts craving your attention, your energy, your presence, because you're not easily attainable. And the scarcity of your availability amplifies desire to levels most men can't imagine. So here's your action step, the thing that separates ordinary men from those who become unforgettable. Think about the four things we covered: time, respect, validation, and connection. Ask yourself, where have I been giving too much? Where have I been compromising my principles for temporary approval or comfort? Today, decide to refuse one thing consciously. Protect it, maintain it. Observe how the dynamics around you shift. Watch how attention changes, how attraction grows, how your presence becomes magnetic without effort. Here's my challenge for you. Drop a comment below and answer this. Which of these four refusals have you been neglecting the most, and how will you change it starting today? If you found this valuable, smash that like button right now. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss content that could transform your relationships and your life. And share this video with a friend who needs to hear this message. Women notice smart men, and smart men refuse the things that make them weak. Now it's your turn to harness this power. I'll see you in the next one.